Hi, guys. Welcome to Get to Know a Nurse from Pinnacle Healthcare Staffing. My name is Janae, and I'm here with Aldrin.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Aldrin is an ICU nurse here in Philly, actually a Neuro ICU
Yeah.
nurse. But I'll let you tell us about yourself, why you became a nurse, kind of your background. Go for it.
All right. So I work at the Jefferson Hospital for Neuroscience and
Mhm.
at the Neuro ICU there. I really like it. But like going into nursing, I was like, oh, I didn't want to do bedside. That was something like I like knew, but then I got an externship as as a nurse extern
Mhm.
where in my current unit, and then I was like, you know what, I like this, and now I'm a bedside nurse at an
Uh-huh.
ICU. But where it all started, I actually have another bachelor's prior to my bachelor's in nursing, so I
Mhm.
ended up kind of like creating my own major, sort of, because I initially wanted to do like med school and
Yeah.
go through that, but then I that was a lot of commitment,
Yeah.
and
You're
it
like,
was
what am I doing?
yeah, definitely, and it's not as flexible as nursing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about nursing, I feel like, is the flexibility that really sold it to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you can do so much with it. You're not tied down to any one thing, and not that nursing's boring, but if you get like tired of something, then
Mhm.
you can just keep, you
Yeah.
know, trying new things. And the best part is it's service, right?
Mhm.
It's like being a nurse is like an act of service.
Mhm.
Um, I think um, it's really important to kind of like make sure that it doesn't lose its roots, no matter what you do with it, as long as you know you do it with a heart of service. I think
I
it's
love that.
yeah,
That's such a great way to say
yeah,
that. I love that. So you chose nursing instead
yeah,
of the medical track.
yeah,
Flexibility was most important.
yeah,
What, you when you're in nursing school, obviously you have to do different
yeah,
types of you have to get your hours, things like
yeah.
that. Why was ICU like the pick for you?
Honestly, I kind of just fell into it. I don't think I was like, "Ooh, I want to go into an ICU."
Trauma, I love that.
So the way it happened, I kind of just so when I applied for my externship, all I really did was like Google nursing student jobs and just
Mhm.
apply.
Mhm.
And like my unit's name is abbreviated as NICU, NICU for neuro ICU,
Mhm.
and people often mistake it for like the baby NICU to the neonatal ICU
Ah.
too. But I really didn't think anything of it. I was just
Yeah,
like some kind of nursing
right.
school, nursing student
You're like, I
job,
need it.
and I applied. And then during the interview, I found out
Mhm.
what kind of unit it was, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Oh my
But
gosh.
then I like did my orientation and I did my externship for a little over a year, and I was like, okay, well, I like it. This is really
Mhm.
cool. It feels like you're doing so much, um, in the sense that these patients are really sick, like really, really sick, and sometimes they're not, but most of the time
Yeah.
they're really, really sick.
Mhm.
So it really makes it like, oh wow, like I'm making a difference. Or like
Mhm.
when you see the progression of care for a patient that like came in completely like comatose and then they're like
Mhm.
waking up and like starting to talk, and you're just like, whoa, this is so cool.
That's
Yeah, so I was
awesome.
like, you know what, this is like cool. I don't know if I never went into it like I'm gonna be an ICU nurse
Yeah.
forever, like, but I was like,
Mhm.
for now this is so cool, I love it, and I think I'm gonna do it. That's kind of
That's
yeah,
awesome. I love
yeah.
that. So do you think you kind of alluded to it, but right now, do you think you're gonna stay in neuro ICU? You think that's kind of
Yeah, so I'm
yeah.
also in school right now.
You are?
Yeah, I'm doing my MSN in Nursing Informatics.
Congrats. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll like finish sometime next year.
Mhm.
But like I've always been like a fan of tech and
Mhm.
like the digital aspect of nursing, right?
Mhm.
So like making sure that I pay my dues with bedside, like learn everything that I need to learn,
Mhm.
especially because neuro ICUs are have documentation heavy. So they're one of the
Yeah.
ICUs with the most documentation ever for
Mhm.
any kind of nursing job.
Mhm.
So and informatics has a lot to do with documentation and making sure that nurses, it's like a supportive role for nurses. It's like
Okay.
nurses supporting
Mhm.
nurses kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
See, it's all support. It's all
Yeah,
service.
right. Yeah. It always is one way or another. So I felt like I'd really be able to make an impact because
Mhm.
even currently on my unit, when our informatics team makes updates, I'm able to help all the other nurses integrate into the new
That's
technology. And yeah,
awesome.
so I'm actually um, part of like the informatics team too, where I like attend their meetings and kind of I my title would be a clinical informatics champion. So for my unit, I kind of teach my
Mhm.
unit about the updates and what's
Yeah.
going on and like what new features that we have for our documentation, stuff like that.
That is so
Yeah,
cool. And it ties back so well to what you were saying about how flexible nursing
yeah.
is because you
There's
can be an ICU nurse and be in the bedside,
yeah,
and then, in a couple years, you're back in school about to graduate,
yeah,
and then completely leaving the bedside, but still being so connected to
yeah.
everyone on the bedside.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd completely leave bedside, you
Yeah.
know? I feel like I've learned so many skills that I want to keep intact. And
Yeah.
if I don't, if I'm not using them, I feel like
Hmm.
they'll like kind of dissipate.
Yeah.
So maybe like here and there, like I want to like pick up shifts
Hmm.
and just to keep those like keep me on my toes a little
Yeah.
bit.
That's
Yeah.
the best part about per diem.
Yeah.
The
Right.
best.
Really, it really is.
Oh my God. Of course.
Yeah.
The flexibility.
Yeah.
But so you're in school.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. I feel
Yeah.
bad. I didn't even see that. So tell me about that. I'm so intrigued. You're in school, you're getting your master's,
Yeah.
you're also working full time.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
In a bedside ICU unit
Yeah.
in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
You know, Maybe what advice would you give yourself when you started? What advice would you give other people that are doing it now? What do you have to say about
Be patient with yourself. Because I know when I started, I was freaking out. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. This job
that?
is too much for me. I was like, I don't know if I even like this.
She's like, why am I getting a master's degree?
Yeah. And then on top of that, I'm in school. Like, what am I
Uh-huh.
doing? I have no
Uh-huh.
time for anything. No,
Mhm.
but it really is like, it'll be okay.
Mhm.
It really will be okay.
Mhm.
Like, I'm at that point where I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, it can feel overwhelming in the beginning, but
Mhm.
it's just important to not freak yourself out. Be patient with yourself, and just tell yourself that everything is going to be fine.
Yeah.
Just take things one step at a time,
I love
and
that.
like to definitely learn to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Because like if you're thinking about everything all the time,
Mhm.
you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
true. So something really important to us at Pinnacle
Yeah.
is taking care of nurses.
Hmm.
And our literally our tagline is taking care of nurses so nurses can take care of you. And it always ends up coming back to self-care or mental health and
Yeah.
well-being. So as a student, as a current full-time ICU nurse,
Yeah.
what are some things you do to make sure that you're taking care of yourself?
Um, I definitely make sure that I have my showtime where I get
Hmm.
to watch my shows. And
What's your shows?
uh, see, I watch a lot of different things, but right now I'm big on anime.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
one?
So I'm watching like 5 different ones right now.
Okay.
So, but I'm specifically into the isekai genre right now, which is
Okay.
like this might sound a little morbid, but it's like you die, but then you get reincarnated into another world with like magical powers and like a
Mhm.
magical world, and
Mhm.
you're like restarting your life. So it's kind of resetting your life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you just kind of like live vicariously through those characters. It's like I'm living a new life every day.
You're like, as soon as I come home, I take a shower and I die and I become I have new powers. I love it.
Every day I have a new superpower. It's great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. I always liked anime.
yeah,
Like I'm so glad it's coming back into kind of like pop culture and
yeah.
being accepted and it's
Right,
like something we're talking about on the
right.
couch.
Yeah,
Whereas before it was like, I watch anime. Do you watch
yeah.
anime?
Right. People are like, "Oh my god, you watch anime?
Like,
Isn't
are
that for
you okay?
children?" Yeah,
Or it's like, are you emotional? Are you all right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's a great one.
yeah,
Um, like I mentioned on the taking care of
yeah.
nurses, when you're thinking about your employer, um, how would you want them to care for you and other nurses?
Um, I would say Jefferson's doing a pretty good job
Yeah.
at that for sure.
Yeah. What would you say is like the most important thing that they're doing or the most important thing to you?
Just appreciating nurses and
Yeah.
just like so we have this thing called props
Mhm.
where like when you do something like that's like really good, they're like they send out like an email congratulating you for like the whole unit,
Oh.
or like a great catch of the week, or like really just like something clinical that you really do, and they're like,
Mhm.
wow, that's awesome. Like they like to appreciate you and show appreciation when it's
Mhm.
due, which I think goes a long way because then
Mhm.
you're like, oh, okay, I feel valued here.
Mhm.
Um, so that's something I really like.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you feel like it's more valuable because they're appreciating you for your skill and they're saying you are smart and like we see you, or do you feel like just the recognition in general of like, hey Aldrin, pat on the back, like really great job?
Yeah, I think in
Yeah,
general, like I think no matter what, as long as you're trying your best and you're doing everything you can, it's like a win.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. That's
Yeah.
great to hear,
Yeah.
especially because in the
Yeah.
nursing world, there's so many people that aren't
Yeah.
appreciated. So to know that you're in a place that is appreciating
Mhm.
you, like the best
Yeah.
possible outcome.
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
If there was something else or like anything that you wish that they could do, is there? Or do you think that they're like really hitting the mark?
Uh,
Like, is there anything in your day to day that you're like, oh, I wish I had this, or like this would make my life easier, whether it's from Jefferson or in general?
I don't. I feel like I've been really spoiled on my unit.
That's amazing. You hear that, everybody? You hear that? Philly's where it's at.
um,
That's awesome.
because since I started, it's my unit's like everybody's always helping each other with everything. So for example, if like I get like a sick admission, like
Mm-hmm.
one of the like charge nurses or somebody higher up is like, oh yeah, I'll take your patient to the scan and then bring him back. You like document, or like, oh, like you need an IV, yeah, let me put that in, or like you need labs, let me grab the labs real quick. Yeah, it's they definitely like I definitely would like to say that my coworkers, they lighten the load on me a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like with each other, we're always like supporting and helping each other.
that is
So
awesome.
I can't speak for anywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I'm spoiled when I hear certain stories
That
online.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, actually, I'm gonna gatekeep that. I actually don't. No, don't work where Aldrin works. It's his favorite spot. Oh my gosh! But okay, so is there anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to like your current situation or anything that's important to you, whether it's like in your family, your past, etc., that you want to
Yeah.
share?
Um, I think it's important to always keep an open mind with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because I never thought I'd end up in an ICU as a nurse.
Yeah,
And even when I was younger, I didn't think that I would be a
yeah.
nurse. So it's all about perspective and kind of like taking every opportunity that life throws at you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because if you don't see that for yourself in the long term,
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like there's always doors opening for you to get you to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you feel like you're not where you need to be, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like something that I learned is that you're exactly where you need to be at the moment. Like there's like it's not a race.
Mm-hmm.
There's no deadline. You'll get there when you get there. So it's like all about trusting the process, keeping an open mind, and just respecting the process too. Really,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that. That actually reminds me of a question we have just about you,
Mm-hmm.
and these are questions that these are just like company questions
Uh
that we
huh.
always love to ask. Um, what has become clearer to you as you've gotten older?
Definitely what I said before,
Yeah,
um, but like it's okay.
yeah,
It's okay to be where you are.
yeah.
It's okay no matter what happens, even if it's something bad,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It'll get
Yeah.
better. I feel like when I was younger, I would have like mental tantrums in my head and I would beat myself up for things that are outside of my control. So that's one thing that I've learned to accept, that not everything can be in my control and there are some things that you can't control. and there'll be chatter here and there, and there'll be people talking. You may feel less than because somebody else is doing something else, and you're just like, wow, like I'm not doing that. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all okay. I feel like that's something I had to come to terms with myself. I'm like, no matter where you are, it's okay because you're where you need to be.
Yeah. It gives you peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So I guess on that vein as well, what's something or things in your life as Aldrin?
Yeah.
What's working really well in your life right now?
I don't think I have anything that's like not working well for me.
That's literally the best answer. Oh my gosh.
I think everything's great. School's great. I'm doing really well. Work, I like the people I work with. Schedule's great. Flip-flopping kind of sucks, but it's part of the job. I don't think I have any complaints. I feel like my life's really good.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
See that? Oh, I'm so happy for you. The more I talk to you, the more I'm like, this guy's going places. I'm like, he's gonna be amazing. All right. Well, then this is my last question for you. And I think it's fitting because you just it seems like you have a very hopeful and bright future. If the next 5 years were a chapter in your life, what is that chapter about?
I think it's about aiming for the highest I can go. So I want to be able to finish my master's and then continue going into the informatics field, and I want to move up as much as I can. I just want to keep going up and up and up. I feel like the sky's the limit for me. I don't really think there's an end goal for me, and I feel like I can just keep going, and I feel like there's things that out there that that's meant for me to discover.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I have a clear path, but I know I have a path that's kind of like that's so long and so worth it, with a lot of value, a lot of lessons for me to be learned, and a lot of memories to be made with a lot of different professionals and wonderful people.
I love that. That's such a great spot to end on too.
Yeah.
Everybody watching, your future is bright, people.
It's always bright. It's all with perspective.
Well, Aldrin, I just want to thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. It's been so nice getting to know you, getting to know you more.
Yeah.
And thanks guys for watching. You can subscribe to our channel here. You can also follow all of our other social media, Pinnacle Healthcare Staffing. We'll post little clips from here on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. But obviously the full session is here on YouTube. So thanks, Aldrin, so much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.